This podcast is brought to you by Open Door Mission, restoring hope and changing lives. OpenDoorMission.com.
Well, hello, one and all. Behold, it's another edition of the Wise Home Energy Show here on the WISL, WLEA stations.
Pure energy.
And our host with the most is Jeff Flaherty. Once again, Jeff, welcome.
Bob, thank you for that introduction. It's getting to that cold time of the year again.
Oh, has it? I hadn't noticed. I was walking around in shorts and sandals. That explains it.
I love it.
I've been so chilly. Okay.
It is nice. I enjoy it a lot. And, but the challenge is people have to heat their homes. And so some people have it cold in their homes. And that's something that we want to address.
So they're cold in their homes and they haven't picked up the phone?
They should pick up the phone. We should have them call 585-270-5836. I don't know if we've ever gotten the number out that quick, but I think that was a good time to do that.
Sell early and often, as we say.
That's right. I had a call recently, Bob, from a gentleman. Maybe it was actually an email, and it said, my furnace has died, and I don't have any money because I just bought this home. And the address was there. I looked up the home. It was about $285,000. And the pictures online, the realtors do a thing that I call they show you the good stuff, and they don't take pictures of the bad stuff. So there was no picture of the furnace, but there was a picture of this AC unit outside that looked to be about 30 years old. So presumably the furnace was probably the same age. And so that's one of the challenges I find with not having the home inspection, which you almost can't get those anymore. But
right, that used to be a requirement. Remember, you couldn't get the mortgage.
Yeah, and I really fault the buyer's broker on that. I mean, you can look at that furnace, you can pull that cover and get that model number and that serial number, and you can usually get the age of that unit. So when we're talking 20 and 30-year-old pieces of equipment, we probably know that they're going to need to be replaced. I had one of my nephews was in the house hunting line of life right now and called me and said, hey, how much is a new furnace and AC? We're looking at a house, and this one's really old. Not going to hold you to it. Just need these numbers for some budgeting. So he knew that this was an older unit, but apparently this person didn't. And really, I don't know the different techniques. I have a realtor that is a great guy and great friend, but he would consult me on, hey, this piece of equipment is old. You need to plan for this. I mean, you sort of know that it's going to need replacement in 6 days to 6 years when it's that old. But that's some of the challenges we see with people just trying to figure out their mortgage payments and what they can afford for a house, but they don't think of what they can afford for utility bills a month or what equipment is going to need to be replaced and how much that's going to cost. So that's I think that's a challenge we're going to see more of in these tough supply issue times with the housing market.
So we would call this a cautionary tale today? Is that what we're saying? When you're buying a house, don't forget you don't want to have a 1,800 square foot refrigerator. So you got to consider HVACR, just like the roof and the foundation.
That's right. Well, the nice thing is if you don't have heat, you won't make any ice dams. So there is the plus side of that. But you got to make sure you don't freeze the water lines.
One really big one, maybe.
Yeah, it could be. So, and I had another one just this morning email in. It must have been bugging him because it was about 5 a.m, and he said, I've got crazy high energy bills, $500 a month. So when the address there, I look up the home. It had just sold 4 months ago. And the pictures online show a boiler. So when we have a boiler, we don't have easy central air options. And then I see the diffusers in the ceiling, and the AC is probably in the attic, which would indicate he mentioned high electric bills. So he's only been there 4 months. So those are things that I think as you buy a home, you're looking at that mortgage payment, but what's the difference between $200 a month and $500 a month quickly becomes an extra $3,600 a year. So that's something that people should keep on their radar when they're looking at a house. Is how much is it going to cost to operate that house? And it's more than principal and interest and taxes and insurance. It should be PITIE, I guess, is the energy bills. We should put that there. Maybe I can trademark that. So those are the type of calls we're getting. I want to tell you about another call, or want to tell our listeners about another call, is that we had a call yesterday of someone who had a heat pump installed in their home, and they were uncomfortable and cold. And our rep was asking some questions, and they've had 3 energy audits. And I use air quotes for our listeners, energy audits, because they've had 3 energy audits, and they have not had a blower door test conducted on their home. So,
wonder what those energy audits were.
Yeah, they were
maybe salespeople from an HVAC place.
I've heard of drive-bys, and they were usually crimes, but these are drive-by energy audits, and I guess these are crimes too. So if
you pull up to the intersection on the off ramp, and the guy's holding up the piece of cardboard that says energy audits, that don't sign up with that.
Right.
Don't
exactly.
Do it.
Well, I've been thinking of using in that marketing. I don't know. Maybe if you see Wise Home Energy on the corner, that might be a good idea. But so we're going to go out there, and I feel bad for people like that who've been told that they're getting an energy audit and they really didn't. And then the person who sold them the heat pump never really quizzed them about insulation in their home or their income eligibility. And it sounds like they may be eligible for some of our insulation grants. So hopefully we'll be able to go in and tighten up that home and make that heat pump work the way it was designed to work, the way that person was sold that it was going to work. It was going to make them comfortable and lower their energy bills. Hopefully we'll be able to resolve that situation. But those are some of the challenges that we hear, and it's always after the fact. We always advise, get that energy audit first. Find out what's going on in your home. Get some data. Data is the blower door test. Data is the amount of energy you're currently using or you've used over the last year. It's how much gas in therms, how much electric in kilowatt hours. Propane and oil, it's how many gallons. And that's related to what temperature you set it at. If you went to Florida and you left it at 50, you'll probably use less energy than the person who stayed here and kept it at 70 degrees. But we need that data to accurately predict what the next steps are and what improvements we can make in the home. So and it can really be done remotely. If you're not in our service territory, we can really give you an unbiased feedback on your energy bills and the type of house you have with a few pictures and a few pieces of data. So don't let our regionality fool you or make you think that you're missing out. We can still give you some no-cost consultation over the internet. So I saw that RG&E was moving the meters outside, and I wondered how that was going to work. There was an article. They've often done that. They've gone through the streets, and they'll move your meter outside, and then some people elect to not do that. So back in the old days, before smart meters, they would have to get inside to read that meter. And some people would elect, I don't want that moved. I would think you would want it moved, but this article seemed to say that they were gonna move all these outside.
Don't they charge for that now?
Well, my understanding was back in the day, if you're doing your street, you sign up, you're getting it for free. If after that, you would have to pay for that. So the article didn't really say. It sounded like maybe RG&E and NYSEG want these meters outside the house now. But it reminded me of a story some years ago. Mike in our office, a building analyst, and I were at a home, and there was a gas leak in the basement, and we called the utility. It was a finished basement. It was really kind of squirrely. And it didn't make a lot of sense. This meter was outdoors, but there's also a vent pipe outdoors. So a vent pipe for a gas meter is if there's a little over-regulation or pressure on the regulator, it'll spit out a little gas, and that vent is outside. And here was the gas meter and the vent pipe outside, and the RG&E tech showed up and he looked at the meter and he said, "We didn't set this meter here." He said, "We would not have done it like that." And I thought, yeah, that makes sense because they would have got rid of the vent pipe we never really got to the bottom, but we think that the owner was finishing the basement and decided to move his meter outside, which I think is a risky plan to take. But those are some of the interesting war stories we see out there. I always get a kick when you drive out maybe a little bit more rural area. I always feel like over by Batavia, you'll be driving down 31 or 5 and 20, and you'll see a house set way back, and then in the middle of the lawn is this gas meter.
I've seen those, yeah.
It always feels like, well, I guess the utility didn't want to set that meter way over by the house. I guess they wanted that somewhere in the middle of the wiffle ball game, I guess.
Some people build little dog houses over them.
That's a good idea. I like that.
With little shingles roof.
It always looked funny to me that these things are kind of just sitting in the middle of the lawn. So I think our genie's just going to take them outside the house and put them, near the foundation. And so that's just something to be aware of, that I would want mine outside. Nowadays with the smart meters, I think they're just able to read these things, from wherever. So it doesn't really matter. It's just done by not sure how the smart meter's done. If it's done over cellular or what it's called.
It's an RF thing. I think.
Is that what it is?
If you look at the meters, the smart meters, they have what's called an FCC type acceptance number. Any radio frequency emanating device has to have a unique. Not every model, not each individual meter.
Right.
But for example, we have all of our stuff is FCC type accepted here.
Well, I am grateful that I brought this up because I forgot that I am sitting across from the man, the legend, who would know all these things. So that's perfect.
Electric or gas, go look at your meter.
Yeah.
And you'll see FCC ID on it.
I like that. I have seen that. And
so they have a transponder inside the truck, and all they have to do really is pull up the driveway or into the parking lot or whatever, and then that displays, and then they store it and leave.
Yeah. All right. Now we know. And now our listeners know. That's good news. So we did see a little change in the electrification rule of New York State, that we're going to back off a little bit of mandating new builds, I believe, to be electrified, because we found out it takes millions of dollars and years of time to upgrade our systems, and we must have forgot to budget for that, the time or the money. So it sounds like they're gonna back off that a little bit, which I'm a huge fan of choice. I like energy efficiency, but I think that people should have a choice of what they can heat and cool their home with. So.
Yes, thank you very much. Last I checked, we live in a constitutional republic where, we're supposed to be, self-determining, responsible citizens and not have Big Daddy government mandate things.
Yeah.
Because you know what happens when you don't have choice. Costs go crazy.
Huge. Yeah, and it's just we're human beings. We want free choice. We want the minute you start restricting free choice of people, we start to feel a little bit like caged animals, and we don't like that. And that's something that I disagree with. I think energy efficiency. We all have the ability to make what's the best choice for how we live, and so that's hopefully that'll stay going forward. The technologies, if we have competition, that'll breed the best technology, and we get to all make our own choices for what's best for our homes and our families. So,
just to fill them in a little bit, what we're talking about is the January 1st mandate, which was approaching, for every building to be all gas. Going forward, no other
all electric.
I'm
electric.
sorry,
Yeah.
The non-gas was what I was really talking about. That would really eliminate the use of natural gas as a heating fuel.
Right.
And what happened was, cooler heads prevailed. The cooler heads being in the appellate division, who said, "Wait a minute, this is actually a physical impossibility because of the condition of the grid.
Yes.
Everything from transformer pads and transmission facilities, the lines, everything else. There's not going to be the capacity to do this. It's an impossibility."
Yeah, they're not replaced overnight. And so, that's the challenge with government is when you sign something with a pen, it doesn't mean that, 30,000 people and $100 million are going to start mobilizing and correcting the problem. The ink is not dry, and we already know that there's a potential problem with these plans.
Right.
So that's good news. I think Bob had a Freudian slip that we're going with the all gas houses.
Sorry about that.
That's a good one. I like that. I would like to do that sometimes.
I tell you what, all gas would not be a bad idea, although I'm opposed to it in principle because people should have choice. You want electric? Hey, God bless you.
Absolutely. We so one of the things that I do want to mention is a great time to check your filters. We had a customer call that had a furnace in for a couple of years, and it wasn't working, and naturally it was our fault. But that filter was so clogged up that it just couldn't breathe. So a good test to do, if it's safely to do at home, is to put your hand over your mouth and cover your nose and see how long you can hold your breath for, because that's what your furnace is doing when the filter is completely clogged like that, and it starts to struggle just like we would as humans. And so you have to go check those things, and what constitutes dirty in your mind may not be the same thing that your furnace constitutes as dirty. So make sure you change that on a regular basis, and each home is different. Each home is going to clog up at a different rate. So take a look at that. And just a little bit about the state of the industry. We're seeing a lot of contractors really struggling in the energy efficiency business because a lot of the state income incentives have disappeared, and we're hearing some of our trade organizations people complaining about not having these incentives. And Wise Home Energy is really, the phone is ringing, the work is coming in, because we have always focused on fixing homes with the proper design and then looking at what rebates and incentives are available. And that has worked exceptionally well for us, and we're really finding that growth potential. It's exciting for us, and part of me hopes the industry will clean up a little bit and people will start thinking about air sealing and blower doors and things of that nature. And so we are hiring. We want to have controlled growth. We want people that are have the same mindset that the rest of our team has, is to serve the client and give them opportunities to have more comfortable, more efficient homes. So here in studio, we happen to be lucky enough to have our operations manager, Eric Ellis, in the house. Welcome, Eric.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So Eric helps keep us all organized. We got to there's trucks and there's fleets and there's a lot of moving parts and pieces. And he's the guy who kind of keeps us in line and says, this is where we need to go. Eric's been on board with us a couple years now, and he's been a phenomenal addition. And Eric, we're looking to hire, right? We're always looking to hire, but you see a few positions that we're looking for, or even what are those common traits that we're looking for in Wise Home Energy team members?
Yeah, well, we are growing. That's a great problem to have, and as we continue to grow, we need to bring on great people to the organization, and people that meet the standards that we have for what we do as work. And we want people to have a keen eye for doing good quality, and we want people to have a great work ethic, that they would recognize a problem and bring it to attention and help us solve that problem. Some of the things that we do that we spend the most time on is the problem solving. So every house is different, and what we run into at each house can be tremendously different, even though they're kind of cookie cutter and seemingly on the outside. But everybody in our team is great at problem solving and having a concept of what needs to happen to fix the issue, to bring comfort and to solve those challenges. But yeah, we're looking for great people all the time as we grow.
Yeah.
HVAC technicians and insulation technicians, building analysts, marketing, different positions that we decide that we need as we grow.
Yeah, and a lot of times we're looking to it's challenging to try to hire from other organizations because the realization is why they're maybe shrinking a little bit is they've been taught the wrong way. And, I think to myself, we get, what do they say? There's a, you can get in a groove. You can get in a groove, but if the groove is not the right place, it's a rut. Mm-hmm. And there's a difference between a groove and a rut. We want to be Wise Home Energy folks. We want in a groove, moving in flow, all operating together in one motion to fix these homes. And sometimes I get calls, and everybody tells me I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread. No, I've been doing this for years, and over the years, I've taken a few chances, and I was like, oh, my gosh, you don't know what you're doing, and you've been doing this for how many years? Have you been doing this to people's homes? I mean, trying to fix these homes? So that's really one of the challenges is we have to find somebody who's moldable, and sometimes we're better off just taking somebody who has the right attitude. Yeah. And bring them in and say, all right, we'd like to train them the wise way. We want them to be part of this team, and it's a learning curve. I learn every day. If you think I walk into the office thinking I know everything, I don't. And the minute I do, I know it'll be time to be put out to pasture, and they won't let me do the radio show anymore. It'll be a bad time. Yeah, so I'm always ready to learn and
hire for attitude, train for success.
That's right. And Eric, he's really an instrumental part of our team. He's working on a really neat. Critical task is redoing our website, and really, this website is going to be a massive educational opportunity. So as I said before, not just people in our region, but I think other people outside our region will be able to look at that website. What are some of the features that we're working on there, Eric?
Well, it's time for an overhaul. It's getting a little aged in its look, so we want it to look fresh and clean. But more importantly, I think part of what we want to do is educate people. We want people to understand. Maybe you're not local to Western New York, but you've stumbled upon some information on our site. But we wanted to help educate people about what your home might need for understanding what we do for the services, for why it's important to do a blower door test, and even what that is. Most people have never run across this stuff that we do, like air sealing and blower door tests, and you're buying a furnace maybe once in your lifetime, right? So going through these steps of investigating what your home needs and what you think it needs and having answers available for you is really what we want to do. We want to provide that information, easy to find, easy to understand what these things are and why it's important, because you're not an expert in this stuff as a homeowner generally. And if you are, you've done your research. So you have a lot of opportunity here to educate people on the different things that we're doing, but have those answers. You're gonna wonder, how much does it cost to put a furnace in my home? How much does it cost to insulate? And what kind of insulation do I need for my home? And we want to answer those questions too. So you can go on and kind of we want to build it so you can build out your needs a little bit and get an idea of what pricing is available, and then even maybe what financial opportunities are out there with some of the programs and things that you can do. So really, it's going to be designed to help people understand what we do and what your specific needs might be, to help answer some of those questions so that you're informed. And at the end of it, we hope you choose us, by going through the website and learning some things. But it's really just to educate you, so you understand what is needed.
Yeah, that excites me. What really we think about anything you go to buy, it's an Amazon world. You can get online. You go to a car dealership. You go to home goods stores. You know exactly what stuff costs in the range. But in regards to upgrades like this, most people don't really have any idea what it costs. So I think the pricing is something that really excites me. So people have an understanding they can do their own research on our website and really know, budget out and say, all right, do these improvements make sense for me? The way we look at it is insulation sometimes we think is more of a elective, I want to call it surgery, but elective procedure, whereas heating might be, and hot water might be more of a mandatory type of thing. And sadly, sometimes heating and water heating, you have to make an emergency decision. And we want people to have that educational forum so that they can make that decision beforehand. You can sit in the comfort of your own home and do the research and know that, hey, Wise is the company for me. This is what I'm looking for. This is not a premium price. This is a premium product that they're offering. So I can take this information and I have a baseline of what things might cost. So that's an exciting feature. I think we should probably have that rolled out in the next 30 to 45 days, I think. And that's going to really help people, whether our clients or other people in the market for these services, to really educate them on what path to look for, what tests to do, blower doors, real energy audits, real energy analysis of what they use. So that's exciting. So Wise Home Energy, give us a call, 585-270-5836. Visit us on the web. There's still good information now, but visit us on the web in a month, and it'll even be more robust. We're there to help educate you to make the best decision for you. And whether that's with us or someone else, we just want you to make that good decision. We're working with a program. They've given us some energy audits, and as I call these, it's a nonprofit, and as I call the customers and ask about their home and how old their furnace is, and they tell me it's brand new, I just got a year ago, I just kind of shrink a little bit and think, oh my goodness, 90% chance it's oversized. It's the wrong size.
Really? That frequent?
It's still happening. Some could say it's my bias or my opinion. No one's doing the calculation of a manual J load calculation, but we're just over the phone like that. But I know the previous person didn't do it. And we can just sort of look at the energy modeling and look at the usage and go, Wise would have chosen a smaller system. And really, we call it a right-size system.
It's an easy way to fix the problem, but it's the wrong way to fix the problem.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes the easy solutions are not the best. Almost never, I would think.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, give them the contact information one more time.
Yeah, wisehomeenergy.com or call us 585-270-5836.
Pick up the phone. Don't be cold in your home. The Wise Home Energy Show here on the WYSL, WLEA stations, the voice of liberty.